7:34.
This should be quick.
I'm gonna sneak out in about 5 minutes. I'll say now it's nice to meet you.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys. I think we're gonna get started on the workshop portion of this guide. Do you guys want to reel it back in for workshop portion? I also wanted to potentially open it up to question and answers for Derek, because that also might be interesting for people who have questions about social media. Does anyone have, or does anyone want to workshop, I guess, their Facebook and Twitter today for their business? And step up to the plate.
Sure.
Okay, awesome.
Sweet.
Great. Yeah. So if you want to go ahead and just here, do you want to? Or here, I'll handle the Skype right now. And if you want to go ahead and just introduce yourself a little bit and talk about your business, that'd be wonderful.
All right. All right.
Yeah, you can even come here to the hot seat. Yeah.
Oh. I'm Damian Magesta. I run a company called Be Local, and what I do is I'm essentially a beekeeper. And what I do is I keep hives in different neighborhoods in Portland, all over Portland, because I found that when you keep bees in different neighborhoods, the result is honeys that taste completely different. They have different flavor profiles, they have different colors, different consistencies. It's pretty amazing to see, right? So I kind of built my company around this. I have Mount Tabor, Laurelhurst, Powellhurst, Brooklyn. I'm going to be expanding this year. So that's primarily what I do. And I'm in some retail outlets like Pasta Works, Mr. Green Beans, Woodsman Market, and there's always that fourth that I've been forgetting recently, but there's another place that I have it. And then, generally people are kind of calling me to carry it. Usually, every couple days, it's kind of crazy. But so that's what I do. Is I'm a beekeeper, create hyper-local urban honey. So that's my gig. That's what I do.
That's great. And tell us a little bit about how you use social media right now. Are you on Facebook and Twitter? And
so I am on Facebook and I am on Twitter. Facebook was pretty easy for me to pick up, obviously, because we've used it for years. I was on MySpace, and what was the one before that?
Friendster?
Friendster, yes. You have to. In my background, I worked for Amazon way back in the day, like '97. I was working for Amazon, so I've kind of been through the whole .com thing, familiar with it. So adopting that sort of thing, things like Friendster, MySpace, and Facebook is was pretty intuitive to me. It made sense that I would have set up a site for Be Local. So I went ahead and did that. The challenging thing for me was Twitter, because I kind of ignored it. I was like, I just don't get it. Like, what is this thing? I kind of messed around with it before, and I just really didn't understand it. But I have since embraced it. I have seen the power of Twitter. And I actually use it a little bit more than I use my Facebook page, okay? And what I started doing is obviously I created, my Twitter thing is @BeLocalHoney, because BeLocal was taken, and I couldn't buy it from the person. Like, I was able to buy BeLocal.com. And so what I did is I immediately started going through and looking through people who I thought would be in alignment with what I was doing. Okay, so I'd started following them. And I started slowly, tweeting things about, okay, this is where I'm at. I'm in the process of creating my labels, and I'm working with this designer, and this is really exciting. Kind of building that groundswell of excitement or like anticipation about it, right? I wanted to make people interested in it. I hadn't launched yet, but I wanted to get people's interest. And the response was good. People were interested in it. One of the things I did is I really was conscious about who I followed, and so there's a few other beekeepers on there, but I also was like, okay, one of the things that is distinct about what I do is that differentiation in flavor. Who understands the differentiation in flavor and flavor profiles? Chefs do. Okay. So I went through, and there's select chefs that I enjoy, I like, you know, Bourdain, Eric Ripert, like these kind of guys, right? Followed them, kind of saw what they were tweeting. One of the things that was lucky enough to happen for me is that my friend was executive chef for Tyler Florence in San Francisco. Great. And I also knew that he kept bees. Okay? So, you know, unbeknownst to my friend, I followed him, and then what did I do? I tweeted to him, and I just said, hey, look, I hear you're a beekeeper, you know, this is what I'm doing, check it out. And he responded. He said, hey, man, this is awesome. You know, this is really cool. I'm way into it, right? Which was great, because when he responded, that goes out, right? That goes out to all his folks, right? Right. Which was 300-some-odd-thousand people. So my name instantly, Be Local, out to 300,000 people, you know? So I saw the uptick in followers. It was slow, it wasn't huge, right? You're not gonna get hundreds at once. You know, I'm still only at like 208 or something, which is nothing, but slowly it started climbing. And I also was watching the traffic on my website slowly climb. And one of the things I did is I said, look, I know that if I get this guy a full set of my full, you know, 4 different kinds of honey, a couple t-shirts, send it to him, he's going to talk about it. You know, I just knew it. And so I sent some to him, and lo and behold, January 2nd, which is, you know, when I had actually launched, you know, all my, you know, e-commerce was set up, everything was ready to go.
That's funny because we started pretty much the same day.
Did you?
I think we started January 4th.
So he tweeted out a photo. He said, just received my Be Local honey, making breakfast, talked about his breakfast and said, putting it on top of blah, blah, blah. It's beautiful. A photo with it of my honey on his counter. Bam, out to all his people. You know, I was watching the analytics on my site, just spiked up. I started receiving orders from all over the country, from chefs, from just regular people, just all over the place. You know, it's people actually asking me internationally about shipping. You know, and I was kind of lucky in that, and then I have a little bit of an in because of my friend, but it just shows you the power of Twitter and social media.
Yeah,
you know,
that's amazing stuff. And you know, I kind of said, you know, avoid following celebrities at the beginning, but you know, if you have a tie-in, then that'll help. It's about having the people become an advocate of your brand, and it's that somebody doesn't even have to be a celebrity, but has a significant following. Yeah, it will dramatically take a turn for the
right. Normally, you know, like I said, I had an in, so it's not really going to happen like that. You can't randomly follow somebody, but you can do kind of strategic things, like, you know, one of the things I noticed that Zamir Gata had just started his Twitter account, right? He's a good friend of Anthony Bourdain, and I was like, I'm following this guy, and then I started talking to him about Ukrainian honey. Because he's from Crimea, he's from Ukraine, so we started having a discussion. But through that discussion, and because he responds, my name gets out there further. And it's a little bit, you don't want to be calculated about it because people can see through it, right? People know when you're bullshitting. Yep. If you're honest and you're true, and it's a true conversation, then it would go, you know, it would go very far. So now I'm an absolute convert.
That's awesome. So which do you want to work on right now? Do you want to work more on your Twitter or more on your Facebook before actually workshopping some things?
I think I have more issues with my Facebook, to tell you the truth.
Cool. Yeah, well,
Twitter, I feel like I have, you know, kind of handled.
Well, you've kind of adopted it because you saw the power of it. And, you know, like I talked about earlier, Twitter is how you build those cold connections. Yeah. And Facebook is what people end up landing on that they already know who you are. So very few times can you reach out as a Facebook page. Thank you for that. Oh, no worries. But very few times you don't see it. That's cool. Very few times do you actually get people landing on you unbeknownst to you, unless you're running a Facebook ad, you know. And that might be something if you can do the Facebook ad credit to just kind of start testing out in this area. Maybe people who like New Season, since it's a Portland-based grocery store, to target those fans. And I think some of your products are found at Whole Foods? Or?
No, Pasta Works. Okay. Pasta Works, so yeah. I just don't...
but if they're online, stuff like that too.
So let's get through, and just to go through the actual worksheet portion of this real quick, and kind of update people who are following along if they are on the live stream or remotely. So who will be in charge of it? You will. I assume, yeah, of course. How many times will we post a week? So right now it looks like you're doing about 1 or 2 posts a day. I just was looking through your Facebook.
Sure. Yeah.
Which is great, and that looks awesome. Looks like a lot of the content going up is really good as well. And it looks like I didn't check out how much do you have people actually posting to your page too, like your customers actively kind of posting their own comments back.
Yeah, that's kind of rare, and I would like that. I would like to the kind of the goal would be to make it a little more interactive. Mm-hmm. I'd like to see that a little bit more.
Definitely.
I get it here and there, but definitely the majority is me posting.
And we can't really tell through mobile because our internet's being taken up by the computer right now. But do you have the setting of Facebook where the default view is everybody who talks about your business, or do you show the customer comments? Is that's what I'm talking about? Now with the whole timeline, it's on the right hand side. In the box.
It's a little weird, and it kind of throws me off.
The new timeline throws it off, but just you can double check it later, but just make sure that you have the ability to have people.
Yeah, and that's a good one too. You can also, I don't know if you had, once again, we had the mobile view, so I don't know if you had like a custom landing tab that they show up on when they go to your page or anything. Like you can set it up so that when they first go there, that you can even have like custom HTML pages or like even a view kind of like of your website.
See, I had no idea.
Yeah. Okay, so that's another good one.
So one thing I want to put out there, do a search for iframe HTML on Facebook, and you'll come up with something called static iframe HTML. It's an app. As long as you know HTML, you can build your own custom tab.
iframe HTML on Facebook.
Right, and it's I believe it's called static iframe HTML is the official name of the app.
There's just static HTML.
Static HTML? Okay. So they took the iframe part out because that was a big thing. Facebook used to have their own markup language for web developers, and now they just kind of went to full HTML, so they had an iframe within Facebook's tab. But
and a really common one for that too, especially I think when you're trying to build. I noticed you had about 125 fans on Facebook already. Yeah, which is good. Like that's it. I think like around 20 or 30 is kind of like the turning point to where it no longer looks abandoned. That's great. And one way I've noticed for places to actually kind of actively build likes is just having one of those custom HTML tab landing pages. Okay. And when they go there, making sure that it just includes, like the best one I saw was Red Bull, again, because they do social media really good. Just had about like 100 arrows of varying sizes all pointing up towards the like button, and just so like us in the middle of there. But kind of like this really big like call to action. I saw another good one for one of the local Portland politicians. Who had the same thing. You landed on a custom landing page, and it had like a video of her talking at like a local debate thing, and then just a big thing that said like, "Hey, like me," for updates on my campaign. But that's a really good, just that like really bold call to action.
Okay.
Excuse me. Facebook's eliminating the default landing page for.
Yeah, what they call is fan gating, and. They are taking that down with the timeline, but for now they're keeping it up. And it was just a setting in Facebook that's saying if you don't like the page, you land here first. And so now with the iframe thing, as far as having people land there, you can take your Facebook cover photo and kind of maybe do the same thing. Like you had a beautiful picture on there. Maybe if it said something like, glad you found us, like us on Facebook or something like that, just in small text. That's not overbearing and take away from your photo. But what they call fan gating and requiring people to only look at that tab and nothing else before they go through, that's been taken away.
They've also outlawed the use of like or any phone numbers or any promotion
on the banner. Yeah, and there's ways to get around it. Again, if there's 500,000 fans, they're going to notice you and they're going to throttle you. But if you're 100 fans, you're not on Facebook's radar yet. So there's scrappier ways that you can always switch it when you do get a big enough radar from Facebook on you. But usually, because it is an image, it's not going to show up in any of their the word blocking or censoring, so somebody has to report you. So as long as you don't burn any bridges and nobody reports your page to Facebook, Facebook's not going to look at it. So yeah, you're right, 100%, absolutely. When you start established, but for starting up and being scrappy, encouraging people to like your page, it's not a bad idea. But yeah, Facebook kind of frowns on it. But that's one thing at Cake I think we kind of talk about is sometimes like just doing some things a little bit outside of the rules that aren't against the law, of course, but to kind of get you that foothold so you can eventually do things on the 100% of Facebook and social media.
Nice. What about engaging? So do you have any current I don't know, rewards or anything set up for customers for like doing things like
I was
taking
thinking
pictures of your honey and
like
posting
tastings
it?
or something like
I
that.
know. See, tastings are that's a thing. Yeah. So tastings would be fantastic. However, my quantities are so small this year that I could maybe pull off one tasting before I'd be out of certain things. But running some sort of now I've done that on Facebook. I've run a little contest. I was like, hey, you know, what does 3/8 mean in terms of beekeeping? Which is, if you're a beekeeper, you kind of you know it's bee space. And so the reward was for the woman who answered it correctly was, you know, a Bee Local T-shirt, which I sent to her and stuff. So I've done things like that on Twitter, but I don't know. For some reason, Facebook to me, the page seems a little slower. You know, it seems I'm not quite sure how to engage with it
So
correctly.
you can chunk down a little bit of money on ads and just kind of attract generic people, or you can chunk away money on a better giveaway than a T-shirt. Not saying that a T-shirt's a bad thing.
Sure.
But let's say, don't do this, but let's say it's an iPad for lack of a better example.
Right.
People eat that up, I want to win,
Right.
and they'll just opt in, and you're boosting your vanity metrics,
Right.
and you're not getting really engaged quality
Right.
people, which it's all really what you're trying to shoot for. If
Right.
you're looking for investors, or you're looking for, you know, Whole Foods to take you on, you're going to want to boost those vanity metrics.
Sure.
But if, you know, you're...
So I could do like a good thing. In my case, a good thing would be win a full set of each flavor of honey.
Right, that would be
You know,
something.
which is actually kind of spendy and
But
would
it would
be
be
a damn good
significant.
reward.
Yeah, retail it might cost the same as an iPad, but it doesn't cost you that much.
Right.
I also think that as long as you're doing a competition, that training people how you want them to engage their page is a really good way to do it.
Yeah.
So like right now
Just
we're doing with
like like what we're doing with Float On.
Yeah, like with Float On, we're running ads in the Mercury that are kind of like, instead of running typical ads, we're running actual columns that are just advertorials basically. And we're having people submit stories of their time in the float tanks. On Facebook,
that's
and then
so
we
cool.
choose one of those and give them a free float, and then we post that in the actual Mercury.
Right, because people
the
love that. They
tank.
want to be engaged. They want to be interactive.
They want to be highlighted.
and they want to be highlighted. They love to. People love to be, you know, see their names in print or whatever, or in media or whatever it is.
Yeah, and it trains them too. Sorry to interrupt really quick, guys. The main thing was it trains them too to like go on and actually post about their floats, right? Like
Right.
it's getting people in the habit of doing that. And it gets other people in the habit on Facebook of going on and reading other people's posts about their experience, which then gets them thinking, hey, maybe I should like post up about what happened to me when I go into the float tank. But similar thing, like running a competition where you're actually encouraging them to post like photos of the meal with the honey app, and like the best photo gets some kind of prize, kind of gets the double bonus of you're like building interest. in
The
your
beauty
post,
thing
and also
about that-
posted that too, and
It's content created for you. You don't
Yeah.
have to spend the time taking the
Yeah,
pictures.
zero
and stuff like
calorie, man.
Yeah.
They're just doing it for you.
that. Well, 100%, they're creating the content for you.
That's brilliant.
Get people posting their favorite recipes, best recipe.
Yeah.
You know, win something.
yeah, that's a really good one for sure.
Or how you use honey in your.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Right. Which is exactly the same. I was. My previous job was I helped launch a coffee roaster here, and the PR company I was working with another company with basically they were peanut farmers, and they were running a contest, you know, and the thing is like post your favorite peanut butter recipe,
Right.
you know, and the one who wins would get blah blah blah. But yeah, it's great. It's sure it generated a ton of content.
And
for
I'm
them.
sure there's little variations you can do on it too. You know, different.
It's great content outside of Facebook for if you want, you know, a testimonial on your website. You
Right.
just got it submitted to you through Facebook. So this is stuff that can live on in many different things. Float On uses it for the Mercury. So, I mean,
Okay.
it's a great way to get people in the habit of performing a certain way on your page, getting new content, and boosting your fanship.
Totally.
Excellent.
Let's see. And what's your general just like content building strategy? Like when interesting things come up, do you just like make a little note of them online, or like take a photo of them with your phone, or like how do you usually get the content that you're making for?
Well, I do it. I do it a few different ways. One, I try not to be like, this is what I'm eating for dinner tonight. Although I will admit that I will do that sometimes if it's relevant. If it's not relevant,
Honey.
right? No, because I think what you're striving to do is, I feel like what I'm striving to do is create a balance between this company and a human being.
Yeah.
People want to be able to, you know. people should know me as a person a little bit. There should be personality through there. So therefore, you will get a little bit of that. However, most of it's going to be related to, this is what I'm doing, this is where I'm in, like, oh, hey, you know, today we cut wood for this many boxes to build these hives, right? Okay, so I might post something like that with, you know, the carpenter I hired and photos of him cutting the boxes, getting things ready, right? And that's great because that ties into the Kickstarter thing because people want to see how that goes. It might be, hey, I just had a great conversation with PastaWorks. Now you can find Be Local at PastaWorks. Or I'm working on a project with, you know, Central City Concern to help people who are coming out of treatment to learn a skill, blah, 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 things like that.
Awesome, yeah.
So one thing that I kind of talked about, and I don't think I touched upon now that I reflect back, is on Twitter, talk to a lot of people. You want to talk to people as much as you're talking out to people. So if people look at your Twitter stream, they don't want to see nothing but push. They want to see like engagement. You're mentioning people and talking to people.
Yes.
Facebook, it's a little hard to do that. So when you create content that gets users to give you feedback and stuff like that gives you the opportunity then to be the page and comment on the comments and like the comments and get people kind of engaged through that. So yes, Facebook content is going to be more pushed because there's very little opportunity to reach out to people. Now as a Facebook page, you can talk to other pages and you can do that and not be so spammy. So you can log in as a page and start liking other pages like I Can Be Cake, and I think I've even commented on something as Cake on Be Local. I didn't go out there and say, hey, make sure you like Cake. I was just another dude that just happened to be named Cake, liking your stuff and commenting on it. And anybody who agrees and aligns with what I just said will follow the breadcrumbs back.
And that's perfect. And that's like the Twitter I sent out just probably about 45
minutes ago. So maybe start a little bit more of that. Start finding PastaWorks. Start finding some of these places that you want to be in and so forth. Start like the New Seasons page since they are Portland local, and just start commenting. Somebody's like, Be Local, honey, what's that? Hey, boss, did you see this local? This would be great for our Hawthorne store. Boom. So so you can engage a little bit more on Facebook to help boost that as well too.
Nice. Any specific questions or anything you're like wondering about with Facebook, or like anything you're trying to really get? Like, are you trying to just get more users? Are you trying to get like more comments? Like, what's your what's the big thing you'd actually like to see coming out of Facebook, or you kind of end result?
I don't know. It's funny because Facebook was more natural, and it took me a while to pick up Twitter, and now for me, Twitter makes more sense and is easier than Facebook. So, you know, just trying to I don't know. Just trying to figure out how to, you know, bring it up and to get, I guess, to steer more traffic to it and get those more likes and you know, drive people. You know, I'm pretty good at driving people to my site. You know, through my blog posts, people pick that up and, you know, send it around. And but I'd like to just bring up the traffic on Facebook a little bit more.
Nice.
You know?
Yeah, I really do think the encouraging the contests is a good way. If you really do want to drive it kind of inorganically too, getting that $50 ad credit. We've been playing around with it on Float On. And Facebook ads, and you can ask us later, and we'll give you some good like ad advice for how to get. I mean, I think
that's totally foreign to me. So
I think
what's an average price to pay per like for a campaign? You think
for a like it's like 75 cents per like. Well, actually, I can take that step back. 75 cents per click through onto your ad, hoping the majority of them like. Because some people will click on the little blue header and go to your page and see who you're about before they like you, or sometimes they'll just hit like. But if you want them to like you no matter what. So
and I think right now we're around like 70 to 75 cents per like on average.
It's a lot cheaper than Google. Google wants you at $3 a click, and who knows where it goes after that. At least 75 cents per like, or per click to eventually lead to a like, is a little bit more better return on investment.
And that one, at least currently, even on the timeline setting, you can direct from the ads into specific like tabbed areas, which is interesting too. So you can make them go directly to one of those little kind of landing pages that you want to send them to.
So do you feel like those ads are effective? I mean, people use them, or
so we've been playing, like I said, we've been playing around with it with Float On. We basically got $250 of free Facebook ad credits. Sweet. So we've been launching a few different variations and ads and things like that. And we've gotten, I think, so far, like total of maybe like 60 new likes directly from them, and then our like overall reach and like likes have been going up organically from there. Just as other friends see like, oh, this person liked this.
Right.
Like,
And it shows up in the news ticker. So there's this thing called social reach.
Yeah.
You pay for somebody to click through and like your page, and then it shows up in the news ticker. Derek liked Be Local Honey.
Right.
If my friend clicks on that and goes, oh, Be Local Honey, I like that too.
Yeah.
You don't pay for that because that's after
social.
the ad.
Okay.
So the social reach, friends liking pages
Right.
based on other friends liking it, is where you get a lot of benefit. And just give you kind of like a real world example for one of my clients is Figaro's Pizza. We ran a Facebook ad campaign. We spent $500 and we got 2,700 likes.
Yeah. Nice.
So I mean, there's if you want to chunk down some change, you can be effective with it too.
Right.
And have a campaign that goes with the ad instead of, hey, like my ad because I'm an awesome product.
Right.
But if you have some compelling thing to get people to click through, like we were running a contest for people to win free pizza.
Yeah.
Well, people are going to like a page regardless. And the drop-off wasn't very bad after that. You know, some people will unlike a page after a contest period, but it's very few, surprisingly, because once you have awesome content and they like what you're doing, they just allow you to be where they're at.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would also say too, a good way, like once you have those people on the page, which if getting the people there in the first place, and it seems like if you have a good conversion rate over with directing them to your website, that's awesome. Getting them to come back and kind of engage with you too, I suggest asking questions. Like I was going back through your kind of recent posts on there, at least within the last like week and a half or 2 weeks that are showing up. It was a lot of kind of like outward going, hey, here's what we're doing, here's us installing honey, like here's this on testimonial we got, and not so much like, hey, what do you think about like these two different kinds of like honey, or which flower should I try to hit up? Like one kind of tastes like this, or like, hey, what do you know?
Right, engage people. People want to give their opinions. They want
and they really do,
yeah.
And it's great too. Like I honestly just don't think about decisions with Float On that much. When I'm like, I wonder like if my customers are gonna like this versus this. Or I'll just like, why am I bothering thinking about this? And like just go on Facebook and be like, hey, if you guys want like option A or option B, and like exactly, and then that automatically boosts the comments and stuff.
Yeah, I actually did that when I was like, should I do a Be Local mustache wax?
Yeah,
of course.
Yes, you should. Absolutely.
You won't have a customer though.
Great, and that about actually finishes up our kind of cake workshop time portion. Any last comments for Be Local? Anything that you guys wanted to pitch in or say about the?
And we'll stick around a little bit afterwards, so if you have other questions, but specifically for Be Local.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for sitting in the hot seat and being a volunteer. Great, and really good session. Thanks again, Derek Wyatt, and thanks to Damien for coming and seeing me. Appreciate it. Great, and Derek and I will be sticking around afterwards to answer any questions, anything like that. And once again, we're totally donation-based, so if you haven't already, feel free to toss in a few bucks. We also have a Square. If you don't have any cash, we can always take credit card donations too.
We'll that advance.
Great. Thanks so much for coming out, and look for the blog post over the next couple days, kind of summarizing all this too. And the live stream recording will be up online in case you wanted to go back and review anything that you missed. All right, and I'm officially closing.